But so far, in my view, black always had sufficient counter chances, and there were a number of games that can be quoted. I think one of them is Topolov Kramnik from one of the Linares when Kramnik won quite nicely. It's a very complicated game, and many games played by Nigel Short that also could demonstrate the blacks' defensive counterattacking resources. One of the games Nigel won against Jan Timman in their final candidates match in 1993. So we could look, of course, in great depth in this position, but now we're just trying to have general review of all these options. I would refrain from trying to be very precise in giving recommendations. So, as I could say, there are many options. There are always, a way to shift from a very positional game to a more complicated positions, and you always have to remember about some nuances, because if you don't like this type of position when white is taken on f6, there's always an option to play knight bd7. I played it once against Karpov, and then I also played at least once more against Topolov in Rapid Chess in '98. So the idea, it was first introduced, I guess, by Yefim Geller, and he won a very nice game against Alexander Belявsky in 1979 Soviet Championship, where 55-year-old Geller won very convincingly ahead of the field of very young players as myself and Artur Yusupov. So knight bd7 prevents bishop takes f6, because now knight takes on f6 and white achieves nothing. But on the other hand, it allows white to use this slight discoordination of black pieces to play rook c1, and after bishop b7 to take on d5. Now, as you can see, knight takes d5 doesn't work, because after knight d5, bishop d5, bishop e7, queen e7, then rook takes pawn on c7. So that's quite an important nuance, because after cd5, black has to take on d5 with a pawn, and then after castle c5, white could play queen a4, and after a6, take on c5, d takes c5, rook d1, queen b6, queen b3, and this position is proved to be better for white. I played with Karpov. There were two games. Once I drew in game 25. I think game 25 now, first long endless match. Then I tried even queen a7 in this position, trying to keep queens aboard, but it was not sufficient. So Karpov got a substantial edge, and he nearly won the game, which could mean a total disaster for me, because score was already 5-0 in Karpov's favor. Later, many years later, 14 years later, I played against Topolov. It was Rapid Chess, and so Topolov couldn't repeat all Karpov's moves with the same effect. And eventually, my breakthrough in the center d5, d4 proved to be more than sufficient, not only to equalize but also to topple Topolov's defense. So you could go knight bd7, but then you should be aware about other dangers in this position. So you can't have best from the both worlds. You always make a choice. Now black more often sticks to bishop b7, following to the position that we discussed before. And so far, it's the conclusion is this line, as I said, most celebrated line in the history of Queen Gambit decline, so-called Tartakower-Makagonov-Banderevsky line, offers black good counter chances, and that's one of the reasons why white is now very often looking for adventures in lines with bishop f4.